The world of Dr. Stone is actually moving along, and we are introduced to a whole lot of new characters. Well, actually, only one, but we are introduced to a lot of side characters that appears to not be so relevant, but they do get voices, so I guess they one day will show themselves. But most importantly, we're introduced to a new ally for Senku and his foul-mouthed Science Kingdom. The angry enemy fan, the despair reviewer, and this is Dr. Stone episode 8. In this episode, well, Qooco and Chrome promises to help Senku if it really can cure everything, Rudy. Senku, being a little bit greedy with everything else, agrees, mostly of malicious moments, so to speak, and reveals that what they're gonna create is antibiotics. He doesn't know what kind of sickness Rudy is suffering from, nor do we, but he believes that since antibiotics saved a lot of human lives in the 20th century, although I don't think it's gonna save anyone anytime soon now, making it is top priority. However, of course, making it is not like doing it like that. No, it's a stone map that takes a very, very long time. It's during this time also that Senku spends an entire day teaching Qooco and Chrome many different information, including how the Earth is round, the fact that the Earth is spinning around. But he also learns that the Earth's axis is slightly tilted, which is one of the reasons why he couldn't navigate through it very previously before. However, more importantly, thanks to the team finding that out, he finds a magnet, which is one of the first things they need in order to acquire iron sand, which is the first step on their science map, which, by the way, Senku draws on the ground. It's a kind of spelling one of the thing all. But most importantly, we're introduced to Suka, a cute little kid that seems to have a watermelon for a mask of a head. Wonder why? Is she ugly underneath that mask, or is she just shy? Well, either way, Suka is a childlike character that immediately decides to follow the Kingdom of Science when Senku, well, treats her well. Acquiring the iron sand, they try to forge it into iron, but of course they lack manpower in doing so. So Chrome and Senku says that they need to get more recruits by sending out Suka, who is revealed to actually be very stealthy in getting information. She gets information and reveals it all, and Senku discovers that the one way they can get recruits is if they create a delicacy that Japan had in his time. When he sees a foxtail that Suka is using to play with Chalk, who is a dog, by the way, and Chalk, he reminds me strangely of that dog that panicked when his owner got petrified all those centuries ago. Is it possible that Chalk is a descendant from that dog? And, well, either way, they decide, since they don't have wheat, they use foxtail by grinding it trial and error over and over again to create small grains. And Senku creates an amateur-looking ramen that, of course, doesn't really look so edible, but for the stone people it's delicious, but of course not for Senku. Since the new Stone Age people don't have as refined tongues as Senku and, well, all the other petrified people, it's no wonder they can actually eat something like that, because they have never really tasted real ramen. And since this is enough, Senku decides to do that, all the while showing his evil smile. This is how they get recruits. All in all, a blast of an episode. Things really moved fast, almost too fast if you ask me. But it is what it is. We're introduced to so many different characters. We're introduced to Suka. I immediately like her, I have to say. And also is the dynamic between Senku, Chrome, and Qooco is almost better than his best friends, surprisingly. Qooco is the straight woman of the crew. I mean straight man, but she's a woman, I say woman. The fact that Chrome and Senku is always plotting, she is the one who is pulling a deadpan snarker line. It's so fitting. And she's also the most fitting one. It is also worth noting that Qooco, although not extremely feminine looking, does not appreciate being called a gorilla, and even shows very ruthless behavior to everyone who shows that. although not to Suka since Suka never calls her that. It is also clear that she sees Suka as a little sister. But most importantly, another thing that this story reveals is that Ruri has actually talked stories about Momotaro to the entire tribe. And since Momotaro is an ancient story that has practically been died out, meaning that 3,700 years ago, although the Momotaro story they have created almost sounds like a fist of a North Star, but also creates a different situation about learning about how dangerous animals, makes Senku believe that curing Ruri is not only good in order to get the entire village on his side, but also, for whatever reason, she seems to be very knowledgeable. And the adventure touring here is very, very nice indeed. Still not used to Senku's foul mouth, but it is what it is. And I guess Chrome's voice actor really works here. I really hope though that he won't be the one to voice another new character when that show comes out, but his voice actually sounds perfect for that role. So give me your thoughts if you have any.